So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be talking about former basketball star LiAngelo Ball cheating on influencer, entrepreneur, and reality TV socialite Nikki Mudarris, aka Missnikkibaby. These two got together in 2022, yet 3.5 years and 2 kids later, things have gone completely downhill. According to people.com, it says, on February 8th, 2025, Mudarris claimed in a since deleted Instagram post that Ball had decided to walk out on their family after he got someone else pregnant, allegedly, and is now creating a new life with her. The couple shared 2 children. Their first son, LiAngelo Ball, was born on July 19th, 2023, and their daughter Lanaya was born in December 2024. The shooting guard who plays for the Greensboro Swarm of the NBA G League and 11 Hip Hop Hollywood alum exclusively confirmed to People in April 2023 that they were expecting their first child. So Missnikkibaby's recent revelation about LiAngelo Ball's betrayal is a harsh reminder of a pattern that we've seen play out time and time again. Women, especially those with resources, status, and emotional maturity, investing in men who aren't mentally or emotionally prepared to be the partners and fathers they claim they want to be. LiAngelo Ball, who has lived much of his adult life in the shadow of his NBA star brothers, has long been searching for an identity of his own. So his recent viral hit Tweaker may have given him a confidence boost, but at what cost? Instead of stepping into the responsibilities of being a family man, he ran off with another woman just months after Nikki gave birth to their second child. This isn't just about infidelity, it's abandonment at a time when a woman is at her most vulnerable, physically, emotionally, and mentally. And we're gonna get into that. On the other hand, Anthony Edwards may be on his way to becoming the face of the NBA, but off the court, his name is tangled in a messy legal battle with Ayesha Howard over the paternity of their daughter, Aubrey Summers Howard. The newly surfaced text messages paint a clear picture that Anthony never wanted a child and made that known in the most blunt way possible. From telling Ayesha to, quote, get the abortion, LOL, to outright stating that he wouldn't be in the child's life, his words expose a level of detachment and disregard that's hard to ignore. So this situation isn't just about paternity, it's about responsibility and the unfortunate reality that some men believe they can opt out of fatherhood when it doesn't align with their personal preferences. I think both of these situations are kind of parallel because the 2 women involved are kind of getting some harsh reality and consequences for dating a certain type of young man, which is also known as a YN, which really stands for young Naker, and y'all know what Naker stands for. I'm not saying that every relationship where you're getting with someone younger than you ends up this way, but I think when you throw in money, status, athletic ability, fame, and those types of things, a lot of these older women who are opting to date men who are years younger than them, oftentimes by a decade, are setting themselves up for almost the inevitable. I know a lot of women think they can change a man even if that man is your age, but I think we have to really put into perspective what is most likely to happen versus the wishful thinking of what we hope would happen. So I wanted to talk about both of these situations because they've been very viral, but also because there's a lesson to be learned from everyone's end. So I've broken this video down into 2 overall main talking points. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So my first talking point is when women date men who aren't ready to be men. And that's in both of these situations. And I think I can attest some of it to their age, but not in every case. I do have a section of male viewers, and shout out to the men that watch me. Hope you guys are enjoying your night. And I think it would be kind of shady for me to say that just because someone is in their 20s and they're a man, that they're automatically incapable of being a grown man. That doesn't apply to every man. However, there are telltale signs when a man is not ready to be a man. And oftentimes those signs are pretty prevalent during the courting process and the dating process, and also judging by their previous character that isn't that far away and is pretty recent. One thing men are good at are telling you a bunch of sweet nothings, and a lot of men will play into this idea of being attracted to you or wanting to settle down with you just for you to end up in a situation where you're now tied to this man forever and there's really nothing you can do once he shows his hand. But I have to put accountability on the women here as well, because when you see that a man isn't ready to be a man, he's not ready to be a father, he's not ready to keep his word, he's not ready to support you, he's more prone to abandon you, disregard you, and treat you just like another piece of poom poom, believe it, like literally believe it. Men are given a lot of coddling to remain who they are for a very long time. Hence why they say that women mature faster, women usually get their stuff together a lot faster, and women oftentimes have to hold things down for themselves because whether men want to admit it or not, they live in this guise of boys will be boys, men will be men. That simple phrase is oftentimes the reason why we see these situations. We see women who give their all to men, give them kids, are loyal, and see a future with them, just for it to end up being the complete opposite, and that man is either not held accountable, or even if he is, there will always be a vivacious Vicky who wants to veer into various ventures, and that venture is going to be with the same man who already showed his tail and gets to keep on living his life while you sit there in agony, defeated by his unwillingness to be a man. And I find it interesting that a lot of gender wars are always present because both sides of the coin have their own issues, but one argument that men always say is asking what women bring to the table. But in this case, Nikki comes from a very opulent background. She has done reality TV, she's done hostings, she now has her own brands, she's into real estate now, and it seems like she checks the boxes on what most men say they would want. Even so, that LiAngelo's father, who is LeVar Ball, praised Nikki for who she is and how she moves.
And now the other one, Gelo, Nikki.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love her.
Okay.
I'm like, Gelo, how many girls have you had where you go to their house? This is the only one that got her own spot in Beverly Hills.
Well, yeah,
everybody talking all this stuff. She business-fied. Her family like that.
Right. Her parents
own some
own a strip club on Sunset.
Yeah, they own some strip clubs
Veil,
or whatever. But she been used by a bunch of people. So what happens is her and Gelo come together, and Gelo she buy Gelo stuff, got her own stuff. Gelo, everybody got to drive his cars, got to stay in his mansion. They ain't got nowhere to go. She do her own thing. So what people don't understand, they're going to be together. They make a beautiful couple, and the baby is beautiful. Got a nice look at this, but her mom talk business, and they talk business to Gelo about business. Mm-hmm. So this is the part I like. Is the girl, Nikki said, I'm going to get me she had a Lamborghini Urus. She's driving that, the baby seat in the back. Mm-hmm. She says, it's too small. I got to get another ride. I think I'm going to get that Cullinan.
Yeah.
Rolls Royce Cullinan.
Rolls Royce, yeah.
I'm like, 2 weeks later, she get that. Not using my son's money.
So of course, Nikki is older than LiAngelo. Nikki is 34 years old and LiAngelo is 26 years old. And Nikki will be 35 before LiAngelo is 27. So we're talking about an almost 10-year age gap and 10 more years of maturity that Nikki has on him. So as much as I do feel bad for Nikki, because no woman should be left in this position where she is just a few months postpartum and this man decides to just up and leave her for another girl, I really do empathize with that. But I just want women to know that when you take the chance of getting into a relationship where the man is significantly younger than you, maybe the pulsing piping penis is spectacular, but the chance that things can happen that show his immaturity is also there as well. And of course, this can happen with any man. He could have been 46 and this still happens. But I see a trend here that we keep talking about with a lot of these young athletes or just young rappers or young famous guys who are getting with these older women and showing them exactly how young they are through their actions and through their mentality. So with this scandal, Missnikkibaby took to her Instagram alleging that LiAngelo Ball cheated on her and got another woman pregnant. She claimed Gelo expressed a desire to start a new life with the other woman. This came in just 2 months after the couple welcomed their second child together. Nikki made a statement and said, I see everyone has been sending me Gelo cheating on me. I want to clear this up and speak my truth. I am just as surprised as you are. We spent 3.5 years together and last week he decided to walk out on his kids and I and tell me he got someone else pregnant, allegedly, and now is creating a new life with her. We were just happy and planning family photos. I am beyond blindsided by this whole thing. The ultimate betrayal is not even the word. My daughter is not even 2 months old and dealing with this and postpartum is very hard. Please pray for me and my healing because I will get through this. I have to be strong for my kids, but I have absolutely no words. Karma is real and God don't like ugly. I hope it was worth losing his family. And Nikki captioned this by saying, time to speak my truth, praying for my healing. She then outs the side chick named Rashida Nicole after Rashida claims Nikki is never around her kids and that Nikki and her family is racist. Check out this video.
I want to address this, but I'm tired of people playing victim on the internet. One, people move on, things change. Yes, it may not be updated or addressed to the internet because it's not for y'all. People have private lives. We have real lives out here. You don't know what's going on. So everybody coming for me and trying to slut shame me and woman shame me, and I'm so sick of that narrative. Like, y'all so quick to blame the woman. Y'all don't know what's going on. People love to play victim for the internet. Half the time, that lady don't even have her kids. Let's be clear. There is no abandonment over here. Number two, the lady and her family are racist. I don't care what anybody says. She always got the N-word in her mouth. You are not black at all. No, surprise. Stop posting about me. Stop trying to throw shade. Like, just leave me alone. You claim you happy. You wanted to meet me.
So in response to this, Nikki says, the same way you get them is how you lose them. Thinking you winning by getting pregnant with a man who has a newborn is crazy work. Then she says, also, in terms of age, to clarify, the girl he left his family for is older than me. So this whole entire situation is really unfortunate because 2 kids are now being raised in a broken home. They will now share a half-sibling, allegedly, with a woman who intentionally got with a man who was taken, which is a complete slap in the face for the rest of your life. And then they have a dad who literally decided to just be an ain't-ish naker, like flat out. And to me, what happened was his song went viral. Everyone's been talking about his song called Tweaker. And now that he's been platformed at this rapper, he even performed at one of the Detroit Lions playoff games. He just signed an $8 million contract with Def Jam, and he has finally separated himself from the shadows of his brothers who are very successful in the NBA. I think it's gotten all to his head, and he's moving like it. He's forgetting the woman that he's been with and who has held him down over the last 3.5 years. He's forgetting his commitment that he's made to her. He's allowing his newfound appeal to get in his head and draw him away from his responsibilities. And the craziest part is he has had nothing to say about this. The only people I've heard talk are the 2 women involved, and it seems like he just doesn't care. It's almost as if now that he has to actually step up to the plate and be the man that he's supposed to be, it's too much for him or he can't do it. So he chooses to be a coward and walk away. He was even spotted out and about in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, and he was with the Rashida chick, and then the 2 were also posted up at a dinner with a picture of her showing off a new tattoo that I think is a logo of his brand. I mean, the absolute audacity, absolutely audacious. She deserves to be slapped. Somebody should spank her. For her to post something like this, and honestly to a woman who is going through postpartum, this is such a messy situation. And allegedly, she's done this before. Apparently, she was the side chick to a baseball player who was also married or in a relationship when she was messing with him. Gone are the days where side chicks would just be side chicks. Side chicks want the same perks as the main chicks, and they aren't quiet. They literally do not do what they're supposed to do. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know how a woman could find a man attractive who literally just walked out on his own children. Like, are you not going to question his character, or are you just gonna write it off until the same thing happens to you? Never get gassed up by a man selecting you to be the next woman, because you're not the next woman. You're just the next step to go through the same stuff. I wish Nikki a lot of healing and prayers, and I just hope that this lesson is learned. She didn't really do anything wrong other than underestimating how his immaturity and what type of man he was would actually cascade onto her. And at the end of the day, he will have to answer for his malicious behavior. Now, the second half of this is talking about the situation between Ayesha Howard and NBA star Anthony Edwards. I recently saw these text messages go viral, and I really couldn't believe it. But at the same time, I really wasn't shocked because I feel like I was just reading messages from a young man who doesn't care about his actions and feels like he's above the program, so much so that he's willing to disassociate himself from accountability just because he can. And then on the other hand, I feel like I was reading messages from a woman who should have known better than the actions that she has committed and who willingly put herself in a situation where she has to deal with someone who does not care about her, her womb, her child, and anything of that regard. So reading an article from Yahoo, Anthony Edwards has been branded as the next face of the NBA for his excellence on the court and unfiltered, charismatic personality. It hasn't been all good press for the 23-year-old hooper, though, as he has been in a nasty public legal battle with his alleged baby mother, Ayesha Howard. In Touch reported that Howard submitted screenshots of their contentious text conversations to counter his attempts to have a Georgia judge decide the paternity and child support. She had a daughter, Aubrey Summers Howard, in October 2024, and the Minnesota Timberwolves star filed legal documents requesting the baby take a DNA test. Howard claims that the DNA test revealed that he was, in fact, the father of Aubrey. This falls in line with the energy he gave in their text messages. In one conversation, Howard suggested that there was a lesson for him in their difficult experience, and he replied, "I'm not trying to learn." In another conversation, she revealed that she was pregnant, and Anthony Edwards replied, "Get the abortion, LOL." Anthony Edwards was upfront about his feelings towards sharing a kid with Ayesha Howard. In another conversation, she asked if he hates her, and he replied, "Yes, because you bringing a child in the world that's going to be without a father." Later in the thread, he added, "I won't be in a child life that I don't want," and he called Howard sick. The legal battle has gotten even messier because while Edwards filed his paternity case in Georgia, Howard moved to California and filed her case there. The three-time All-NBA selection believes that she did this intentionally to secure more child support money from him and address how her other child, who she conceived with Lil Baby, lives in Georgia. Seemingly, Edwards' issue isn't about having a child, but solely because it was conceived with Howard. In March 2024, he left the Minnesota Timberwolves game against the Sacramento Kings to be by his baby mother Shannon's side as she gave birth to their daughter Aislinn. So this situation is just as messy as the first, but in this case, there was never a relationship between these two individuals. Ayesha Howard is also known as Little Miss Golden on Instagram. She is the child's mother to Atlanta rapper Lil Baby. So essentially, she has acquired two very big bags. And I saw this situation budding a few months ago when there were rumors saying that she was pregnant by Anthony Edwards, and then she dropped some paternity results saying that he indeed was the father. So now I guess they're at a point where they're trying to figure out the child support situation, and he's mad because he feels that she got pregnant by him for the sake of money, hence why she moved to California to get more money, and she's upset because she feels, regardless of her reason, the fact that he essentially ejaculated inside of her and caused her to conceive, he should be responsible and step up and take care of his child, at least financially, because it seems like she's okay with him not raising their daughter. So let's get into these text messages, and I'm going to give a trigger warning for those who may feel uneasy about men who just don't care about a woman's feelings or their postpartum or whatever. And I should have stated this earlier, but I just really didn't like the tone of these messages, so they could be a little bit triggering. But it says, I'm pregnant, wanted to tell you in person, but you gave me no other choice. We probably should have kept it cordial, but we're here now. He then says, okay, LOL, get the abortion, LOL. She then says, I don't need hush money. My intentions aren't to blackmail you in any way. I'm being upfront and honest. I'm not getting an abortion. It's not an option. I can keep you updated through the process, or I can disappear until the baby's here. It's on you. Either way, I'm done going back and forth because you still think it's a joke. He then says, OMG, with a lot of laughing faces and says, bye. And she says, not bye, see you later. And honestly, I feel her because who do you think you're getting away from when you literally impregnated me? If anything, I'll see you in courts. So then a few weeks later, she texted him and says, Anthony, do you hate me? And he basically says, yes. And then he said, because you're bringing a child into this world that's going to be without a father. She then says, I'm not asking you to be with me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And if you choose to be a complete ghost to your seed, that's totally up to you. That's something you'll have to take up with a higher power. Hard to believe when you fathered a kid outside of your own. But I come in peace despite what you may think, and I'm not sure how or when to communicate with you without overwhelming you. But we are clear on how you feel. He then says, I won't be in a child life I don't want, LOL. You are sick, with more laughing emojis. And honestly, this is just very disgusting because to be so casual about a major consequence such as impregnating a woman and you being the father to that child, it's very unlikable and honestly very immature. But for context, Ayesha Howard is 37 years old and Anthony Edwards is 23 years old. So am I really surprised that a 23-year-old, very rich NBA player who is literally one of the youngest, newest, most revered athletes in the sport at this time is acting as if he has no care in the world for the consequences of his actions? No. I'm not. No. Because no. I am not surprised. I'm more surprised that a woman who is almost 40 is not protecting herself from getting pregnant by this young man who probably has a high tendency to do exactly what he's doing, which is showing he does not care and trying to avoid accountability and just being a true YN. Now, let me just say this. I see a lot of people debated about this topic saying, why would she have a baby after a man told her not to? And then I see people saying that why would he not use a condom if he didn't want a baby with her? I'm on both sides of the spectrum. However, if I had to put my foot down and say how I feel as though if the consequence to people not protecting themselves in a sexual format is a baby, everybody has to step up to the plate. You made a choice to put your pulsing, piping penis in her poom poom. You didn't wear a condom and you didn't pull out. So you thought that you were above the program? And now that the program is heavily in action, you feel as though that you can cancel the program? I'm sorry, boss, but you have an 18-year subscription now. And the 18-year subscription could have been eradicated had you decided to strap up or be smart. But you're not smart. You're actually very dumb because now all of your multi-millions that you get from the NBA will be considered in financing a baby that you never wanted in the first place, and you could have prevented it, but you didn't. And if you feel as though someone is having a baby by you for financial gain, well, welcome to the NBA, welcome to the NFL, welcome to Hollywood. There are women out here who get with men for the sake of financial come up, and this is nothing new. Somebody should have put him on game. There are so many examples of this that I'm sorry, at the age of 23, you may be young, but you're smart enough to know that you don't put your willy in every woman. You don't stretch your girth into every girl. You don't lay up inside a lady without a latex. I don't know which nursery rhymes I have to give him, but I don't feel bad for a lot of these guys. You're not 16, you're not even a fresh 21. At 23, you should know better. And at almost 40, Ayesha, you should know better. You should know that not only is Anthony Edwards the same man who had a baby on his current girlfriend, who obviously isn't faithful to his girlfriend, so he was never going to give you any loyalty, you're literally the other woman, but he's not mentally mature enough to be anybody's father at this moment. Of course, he can grow into it, but at this very moment, he is not not there. And Ayesha already has a child with Lil Baby, a baby that she had, I believe, at like the age of 27 or 26 when he was only 19. So she has done this before. So for Anthony to not see this and somehow feel the need to proceed, you should have never passed go and you should have never collected $200. Because now you have 200 problems and there may be a $200,000 payment that goes towards the baby that you didn't even want. And the person monopolizing this entire game that she just played on you is the child support court. And there's so many examples of these young men that do not learn, and that's why I can't feel bad for either one of them. I feel bad for the baby and I feel bad for the stake that all of her business is being aired out, but I feel like she knew what she was signing up for, so I have to hold both people accountable. So my overall thoughts on this is, number one, these ladies, these older ladies, have got to stop dating these YNs. I'm not saying that you can't date a man that's younger than you, but the significant age gaps, the ones that are 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, even more, and the ones that are specifically with these athletes and these rappers and so forth, they're all the same story again and again and again. A man with money and fame is oftentimes going to exercise his options, especially when he's young. They'll do it at 50 years old, so they're damn sure going to do it at 20 years old. Both of these examples expose a bigger conversation about accountability. Both situations involving Missnikkibaby and LiAngelo Ball and Ayesha Howard and Anthony Edwards highlight a reoccurring issue in relationships where men who lack emotional maturity, stability, and accountability abandon their responsibilities as fathers and partners. In Nikki and Gelo's case, Gelo walked away from his family, leaving Nikki blindsided just months after she gave birth. His actions suggest a man struggling with self-esteem and identity, chasing external validation through music and a new relationship instead of embracing his role as a father. Nikki, who comes from wealth and influence, could have chosen a man with greater emotional stability, self-esteem, and a true sense of responsibility. Instead, what? You want to get on here?
Instead, she found herself entangled with a man who was struggling with maturity and decision making.
Thank you.
I sound like Maya Angelou.
Wow. If a man isn't secure within himself, he will always seek validation elsewhere, whether through status, money, or in this case, another woman. This situation also sheds light on a broader issue. Older, established women dating younger men who simply aren't ready to lead a family or be a man. Some women believe they can guide or elevate these men, but without the foundation of emotional intelligence and maturity, these relationships often end up in disappointment. Gelo's actions prove that no amount of love, loyalty, or financial stability can force a man to be the person he isn't ready to be yet. For Nikki, the silver lining is that she now sees the truth and has the opportunity to move forward without a man who clearly didn't value her or their family. It's a painful lesson, but one that many women can learn from. Never invest in a man's potential more than he invests in himself. Similarly, Anthony Edwards made it clear through text message that he never wanted a child with Ayesha Howard and even encouraged her to get the abortion, LOL. Despite allegedly being confirmed as the father, he is still actively fighting paternity and child support claims in court, further proving his reluctance to take responsibility. But at the core, there's a child caught in the crossfire of two parents who were never on the same page. Regardless of how Anthony feels about Ayesha, Aubrey exists, and she deserves more than a father trying to distance himself through court filings. For someone who thrives on confidence and leadership in the NBA, Anthony's reluctance to own up to his actions off the court raises a crucial conversation about accountability. It's not just about being a superstar athlete, it's about being a responsible man. Both situations expose how some men, particularly those in the spotlight, feel they can pick and choose when they want to be men, often prioritizing their personal ambitions over the well-being of their children and the women that they deal with. Meanwhile, the women are left to handle the emotional and financial burdens of single motherhood while also facing public scrutiny. Ultimately, these stories serve as a cautionary tale about choosing partners wisely and recognizing red flags before committing to building a family. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If y'all haven't already, follow me on all of my social media networks. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Definitely thumbs up this video. This is a good one tonight, okay? I know y'all saying, oh, the preacher is preaching tonight. I know I am. But make sure you guys follow me on all of my social media networks. And as always, I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
To my pal, mademoiselle, I'm more du caramel. You got my mind spinning like a carousel. Can you tell? Oh, you so professional, smooth like a criminal. Passenger princess, always treat me like Cinderella. Yeah, call me Bella, say I look stellar. Tu me fais bêta, ils sont jealous. Des mon père from my left hand. J'ai regardé, je ne vois pas no other man. Number one, Papa, you know you're my only one. 2 times 2, buy me everything under the sun. Toi, c'est moi, bisous on my body, love that. Yeah, we had tough times, can we rise above that? Your smile's my weakness, your body give me releases. It do my day be increasing, then you bless me like sneezes. I could write a whole